Today is July 31st. It's Thursday, July 31st, 2025. And it is Yom Hamishi, the fifth day of the week. Because in Israel, in the Hebrew way of reckoning, Thursday is the fifth day because it starts from Sunday. So it's Yom Hamishi, fifth day of the week, the sixth day of Av, 5785. The Torah portion of the week is Devarim, Parshat Devarim. The first few chapters of Deuteronomy start the book of Deuteronomy. We start the book of Deuteronomy this week. And this is the PL-89 calendar, a lunar and solar calendar, a Julian calendar, a Daf Yomi calendar, based on the planet Mercury, and it is a gematriatic thought calendar, which means that every number in the box can connect ad infinitum to any other number, any other whole number that one is possible to use or reckon or count. What I mean is that there's 40 numbers and then it starts again. There's two 40s, so you're looking at 80 numbers altogether, and it goes up to 40 twice. And it doesn't go in the usual way of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 40. It has a unique way of counting. It's counting by 8 plus 9 and stopping off at 40, and that's how it gets all the 40 numbers. To explain that more precisely, it starts at 8, and then you add 9, you get 17. You add 8, you get 25. You add 9, you get 34. And this is the equator. 40 is the cutoff point. At 40, it resets again. So 34 plus 8 would be 42, but it's 2. So then 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 8 is 19, 28, etc. 36, and then 36 and 9 would be 45, but then it goes to, as you can see, 5. And it goes in that sequence, and the reason why it's sequenced in that way is based on a verse in the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 20, which is interesting because after 13 years of working on this, the year 2025, this calendar is being presented in the same passage that it's based on, the same numbers. It was 2520. So that's just an interesting side point. On this calendar, so it's a lunar and solar calendar, which means it reckons both the Hebrew calendar, on which we are the sixth day of Av, and it reckons the Gregorian calendar, on which we are the 31st day of July, and the Julian calendar, which is 13 days before today, and it's going to be that way. And then it loses a few minutes each year. So the Julian calendar is 13 days, but after a couple hundred years, it's going to go one more day. So for now, I think for as long as we're going to use this for, it's going to be 13 days, because it was 13 days from 1901 or something like that until the year 2099. After 2099, it might lose another day, so it might be 14 days, but I think we'll all be long gone by that time. Well, that's debatable. It depends how you view the end times and your eschatological point of view, but that's for a different topic, and I'm not firmly fixed on any one viewpoint with that at this point anyway. But it does tie into the coming of Messiah and things like the resurrection and all the eschatological end times things. But it looks like there will be time for that to unfold. For now, I've just been presenting how this calendar works. It's a lot of times when I state ideas, and I've done this many years ago, an idea came to mind, and I said, "This will do this," and a flash came to my mind. It's going to do this, in many different creative endeavors. And sure enough, in a few years, without me even thinking about it, at one point, without me even trying, and it's not like I said it's going to be like this, and then I did it right away. I might have said, this is the point of this happening. And then maybe a year later, when I wasn't even paying attention to it, it sort of unfolded by itself in that way. And I'm saying this not for this calendar per se, but other creative endeavors, but I would include this calendar in the same idea because the idea came as a sort of an inspiration, sort of a received thing. But this calendar is meant for, and I haven't put it to the test yet, but I would like it to be something that would be able to settle all of the disputes of the different prophetic starting points of, let's say, the book of Daniel and the 70 weeks prophecy, and I think that this calendar can be plugged into it eventually. And many other historical dates and prophecies and counting points and ending points and all stuff, things like that. But just to get to, so this is the stage that I'm at right now, is that I've been presenting every day how this calendar works and certain unique points about it. So what you're looking, very briefly, you're looking at 80 boxes. Like I said, it's 40 times 2. And there's another additional invisible 10 days under here. It's called the 10-day twilight period, during which on the Gregorian calendar we are right now. Sometimes the 10-day twilight period has 11 days, like this month. Since the Gregorian calendar has 31 days for July, and July is the last month in this particular season. And August/Av is the first in this dispensation. And there are 3 dispensations, but in this dispensation, we start from all the fixed months. In astrology, the fixed months are Av, August, November, Cheshvan, February, Shvat, and May, Iyar. So all of those months would be this box right here. So Rosh Chodesh Av, the first day of the month of Av was on Shabbat. Therefore, Shabbat was here, and it's 8. So I think I didn't complete my idea when I said before that this has every single number you can possibly count. And that's because the rule of 40, again, 40 is a big prominent theme for many reasons. But 40 is the numerical value of the word Goel, which means Redeemer. Gimel is 3, Vav is 6, Aleph is 1, and Lamed is 30. That makes 40. So Goel, the Redeemer, is a big part of this calendar. And the Geula, the redemption. So today I saw a connection. Let's say this is the 1st of Av, 2nd of Av, 3rd of Av, 4th of Av, 5th of Av, and 6th of Av today will be box number 11. And what is the connection between 11 and today? The connection is specific and very much to the point, because if you remember a few moments ago, I was describing the 10-day twilight period, and I said that it doesn't have a fixed amount of days. It has a maximum of 11 days, but it usually has a month can be 30 days, or in a Hebrew month it could be 29 days, because the Hebrew month is on the moon, and it's again a lunar calendar as well as a solar calendar. So this month, and it happens to be that July is the last month in the season of this dispensation, and today is T11, which means 10-day twilight 11 on the solar calendar, on the Gregorian calendar, on the secular calendar, the Roman calendar, or the Christian calendar. But on the Jewish calendar, on the Hebrew calendar, on the Rabbinic calendar, on the Israel religious calendar, I don't know what other synonym to use, it's box 11. So how interesting is that? It's like an alignment where we're on both T11. Today the date of the PL-89 is 11 on the Gregorian calendar, because it's T11 on this calendar, and it's box number 11. It would be box 11 and box 11 on the Hebrew calendar, and that's these kind of alignments are very important in this, because a big central theme or function of this calendar is something called reconciliation and unity. Rather than duality, this is unity. That is specifically why I'm dealing only in numbers. Because numbers are neutral. You can make them say whatever you want, so to speak. Not really, but if they're going to be logical, they have to follow certain rules. But they can say, let's put it this way, there's many layers of meaning that can be coded into numbers, and they can be completely neutral at the same time. And that's the point. It can have complete clarity if you're following rules, and it can also have ambiguity at the same time. And that's the point of it, because the point of it is unity and not duality. This calendar, so to speak, I was about to say it could have easily been made with words. A word calendar where the thought calendar would be to think these certain thoughts along this timeline. But what I've found is that words, at least in this order of reality, from the best of my observation, words, because of the phenomenon, because of the ability to interpret something in different ways, words oftentimes have the quality of obscuring reality and blocking and becoming in duality, being more divisive. Because let's just say, for example, any interpretation of the scriptures, let's say the Torah, or even the Talmud, or anything, halacha, Jewish law. Some words will be said, but then people who interpret it will give a different meaning to it. Because we're in duality, everyone has the ability to interpret it their own way. And who is to say who's right? And then we're left at square one again. No pun intended. But these squares don't obscure reality because there's nothing to obscure. It's only numbers. So if I said 8 and then I said 9, then there isn't a single person with a sane mind and a logical and sane mind who wouldn't say that it's 17, at least at the very basic level, without using any kind of creative or unusual math. But to use basic standard elementary math, people would understand this sequence of numbers. Now, there are different layers of meaning that one can get into, but the whole point of this is to follow the logic of the numbers and the rules in order to present those lines of reasoning. If that can happen, then it's possible, at least the hope would be, that we could reach, or many could reach some consensus on what is true based on mathematical principles.